10 celebrities who became famous after their untimely demise. Celebrities who became famous after their untimely death. One name that definitely stands out is Bruce Lee. This martial arts icon was known to a limited audience while he was alive, but his tragic passing transformed him into a global legend. His incredible skills and philosophy resonated with many, and now he's admired around the world, influencing countless martial artists and fans alike. It's fascinating how celebrity news can shift dramatically after someone has passed away. Bruce Lee's impact only grew after his death in 1973. He became a symbol of strength, resilience, and cultural pride for many communities. Today, if you search for "Who Died Today?" you'll find that names come and go, but legends like Bruce Lee continue to live on through movies, quotes, and the ongoing legacy of martial arts. His story is a reminder that sometimes it takes an untimely death for the world to truly recognize an artist's or athlete's contributions. While it's bittersweet to think about how much more he could have achieved had he lived longer, there's no denying that Bruce Lee remains a major influence and idol in many countries even decades later. When we talk about celebrities who shot to fame posthumously, James Dean is a name that always comes up. The ultimate bad boy of Hollywood, Dean's career was tragically cut short at just 24 years old. He only had one film released, East of Eden, and two others in the pipeline when he met his untimely death in a car crash. Today, James Dean is celebrated as one of the major stars of the golden age of Hollywood. His role in Rebel Without a Cause has cemented his legacy, often landing on lists of must-see films for anyone interested in classic cinema. Celebrity news and famous deaths news often revisit his story, reflecting on how his image as the brooding rebel resonates even decades later. It's fascinating and somewhat bittersweet that sometimes it takes tragedy for a celebrity's true impact to be realized. So whenever you hear someone asking, "Who died today?" remember that some legacies grow even stronger after their time has ended. Now, when we talk about celebrities who became famous after their untimely deaths, Jeff Buckley is a name that often comes up. This incredibly talented musician left an indelible mark on the music world, but it wasn't until after his tragic passing in 1997. At the time of his passing, he had only one studio album released. How did he die, you ask? Well, Buckley went swimming fully dressed in Wolf River Harbor, a slackwater channel of the Mississippi River, singing the chorus of Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love under the Memphis Suspension Railway, and tragically drowned. His legacy truly began to blossom after this. Known for his hauntingly beautiful voice and emotional performances, Buckley's work gained a massive following posthumously. His cover of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah has become iconic, often featured in various films and shows, making waves long after he was gone. In celebrity news circles, Buckley's story serves as a poignant reminder of how sometimes the brightest stars shine even brighter when they're no longer with us. His untimely death at just 30 years old left fans wondering what else he could have achieved if given more time. Today, when people search for "Who Died Today?" Jeff Buckley's name often pops up as a reminder of talent lost too soon but celebrated forever through his music. Some of you might know Ed Wood as the worst movie director of all time, but his story is way more intriguing than that label suggests. Back in the 1950s, Ed was busy directing a quirky mix of crime, science fiction, and horror films that included titles like Jailbait, Glenda, Bride of the Monster, Night of the Ghouls, Plan 9 from Outer Space, and The Sinister Urge. If you've seen any of these movies, or even just clips, you'll know they're famous for their campy style and a whole lot of awkwardness. Think technical mistakes galore, messy dialogue that makes you chuckle instead of cringe, and bizarre plots that leave you scratching your head. Despite his relentless passion for filmmaking, Ed struggled with alcoholism and passed away at just 54 years old. For many years after his untimely death, most folks forgot about him and his work. But then came the Golden Turkey Awards, a book that declared him the worst director of all time. This little nugget sparked a revival in interest around Wood and his films. Suddenly, people were digging through the archives to rediscover this cult figure. What's fascinating is that during his lifetime, Ed wrote over 80 novels. Many of his films are now in the public domain because he didn't renew copyrights. So if you're curious about what all the fuss is about or just want to enjoy some unintentional comedy gold, there's plenty out there to watch. His legacy even inspired Tim Burton's film featuring Johnny Depp as Wood himself, bringing this quirky character story into pop culture's spotlight. And what is the movie name, you say? It's Ed Wood. While Ed Wood may still be remembered as the worst director ever, and let's be honest, there's a certain charm in being dubbed so, there's an undeniable appeal to the campiness and sheer audacity he brought to filmmaking. In celebrity news today or any day, you can find discussions about those who have passed on but left behind legacies much larger than life itself. Ed Wood is certainly one shining example. When we talk about celebrities who became famous after they died, Israel Kamaakaweo is a name that often comes up. This beloved Hawaiian musician, songwriter, singer, and activist led a life that was rich in music and spirit, but wasn't widely recognized outside of Hawaii during his time. He was genuinely happy with the life he lived and the music he created. Israel's incredible ukulele skills and his soulful medleys, particularly Somewhere Over the Rainbow, What a Wonderful World, showcased his unique talent and passion. Sadly, in 1997, he passed away from respiratory failure at the Queen's Medical Center. But here's where it gets interesting. After his untimely death, Israel's fame skyrocketed. He transformed into a true legend. You can even find a bronze statue of him at the Waianae Neighborhood Community Center on Oahu, where fans flock to pay their respects. His iconic song has found its way into countless movies and TV shows since then, resonating with people across generations. The music video for that beautiful medley has over 1 billion views on YouTube. Not to mention it made history by holding the top spot on the Billboard World Digital Songs chart for an astonishing 185 weeks. Talk about making an impact. Israel Kamaakaweo's journey from local treasure to global icon is a poignant reminder of how art can transcend time and touch hearts long after we've left this world. When we talk about celebrities who became famous after their untimely death, Eva Cassidy is a name that often comes up. This incredibly talented singer had a voice that could move mountains, yet she remained largely under the radar during her lifetime. It wasn't until after her tragic passing in 1996 that her music truly began to resonate with audiences around the world. Eva's unique blend of folk, jazz, and blues caught the attention of music lovers posthumously, leading to a surge in her popularity. Her haunting renditions of classics like Fields of Gold and Songbird showcased her extraordinary talent and emotional depth. It's almost surreal to think about how someone can achieve such fame through celebrity news surrounding their death rather than their life. In today's world where we often hear, "Who died today?" it's essential to remember artists like Eva Cassidy, whose legacies continue to inspire and touch hearts long after they've left us. Her story serves as a poignant reminder that sometimes greatness is only recognized once it's too late, making us appreciate the fleeting nature of life and talent even more. When we think about celebrities who skyrocketed to fame posthumously, Emily Dickinson's story is one that often gets overlooked. This literary giant lived a reclusive life in the 19th century, creating a treasure trove of poetry that only a handful of people ever got to see while she was alive. Can you imagine? While she wrote a lot of poetry, only a few pieces were published during her lifetime, and they were often edited or published anonymously. Dickinson kept most of her work private, which makes her untimely death all the more poignant. After she passed away in 1886, her sister Lavinia discovered over 1,500 poems that Emily had penned over the years. Talk about an unexpected revelation. Lavinia dedicated herself to getting these works out into the world. It wasn't an overnight success. It took time and effort before her collections began rolling out between 1890 and 1945. But it wasn't until 1955 that her complete works finally hit the shelves. Today, Emily Dickinson is celebrated as one of America's greatest poets, a true testament to how sometimes it takes an untimely death for talent to be recognized fully. Her journey reminds us that fame can be fleeting and elusive. Some stars shine brightest after they've left this world behind. So when you hear celebrity news or updates on who died today, remember that not all legacies are built in life. Some are crafted beautifully in death. When we think about celebrity news, it's hard not to reflect on those who became famous only after their untimely death. One of the most striking examples is Vincent Van Gogh. This guy was a true pioneer in the art world, but during his lifetime, he sold just a handful of paintings. Can you imagine pouring your heart and soul into your work only to be met with indifference? Reminds me of my videos. His innovative style, bold colors and expressive brushstrokes, was way ahead of its time, leaving him misunderstood and underappreciated by his contemporaries. But here's where it gets interesting. After Van Gogh's tragic passing in 1890, things began to change. His brother Theo and later Theo's wife Johanna became his biggest advocates, tirelessly promoting his work through exhibitions and publishing his heartfelt letters. Fast forward to today, and Van Gogh is a household name. Paintings like Starry Night and Sunflowers have skyrocketed in value, becoming some of the most expensive pieces ever sold. So next time you're scrolling through who died today or catching up on famous deaths news, remember that sometimes it takes a little tragedy for true talent to shine through. Van Gogh's story reminds us that art, and indeed life, can be wildly unpredictable. Fame doesn't always come when you're alive. When we talk about celebrities who shot to fame posthumously, Chris McCandless is a name that often pops up. His story is both captivating and tragic. For those who may not know, McCandless was a young man who abandoned his possessions and savings to embark on a journey into the Alaskan wilderness. His untimely death in 1992 became the stuff of legend, inspiring countless books and films, most notably Jon Krakauer's Into the Wild. Chris's quest for adventure and self-discovery resonates with many, especially in an age where people are constantly searching for meaning beyond material wealth. His celebrity status grew after his death as more people learned about his life choices through various media outlets. The allure of celebrity news often revolves around the sensational aspects of their lives, and in Chris's case, it's a poignant reminder of how fleeting life can be. Today, when we hear about who died today, it's easy to overlook those whose legacies continue to inspire long after they're gone. McCandless's story serves as a powerful example of how untimely deaths can spark conversations about purpose, freedom, and the human spirit, making him one of those unique celebrities whose fame only started to grow after he left this world. When we think about celebrity news, it often revolves around the latest scandals or red carpet appearances. But there's a whole other side to fame, one that comes after an untimely death. It's fascinating how some celebrities achieve a level of notoriety posthumously that they could only dream of while alive. Take Michel de Nostradamus, better known as Nostradamus. This French apothecary and seer published collections of prophecies that have kept people talking for centuries, making him a household name long after his passing. Nostradamus wasn't just some random guy with a crystal ball. He was a serious thinker whose predictions sparked curiosity and debate. His fame has only grown over the years, with people constantly revisiting his works to decipher what he meant about the future. His story is just one example among many celebrities who have had their legacies transformed by their deaths. In the realm of famous deaths news, it's intriguing to see how public perception shifts once someone is gone. Suddenly, all those who died today become subjects of admiration and reflection, rather than mere headlines. It's bittersweet, but also a testament to the lasting impact these figures can have on our culture and society, even when they're no longer here to witness it themselves.